Hi, and welcome to today's Wellness Wednesday video. Today the flower essence that came up under intellectual, and the flower essence that came up is nasturtium. And what this flower essence helps with is for if we're too much in our head, if we're too much in our thinking, and our energy isn't flowing throughout. I think this is a huge problem for a lot of people. They spend the majority of their time, I say this to clients all the time, the majority of their time in this area. That means you're cutting off like 90% of your body, or 90% of your energy, because you're focused in that thinking intellectual mind. And so nasturtium helps to cycle that energy, to remove it so much from the head and cycle it throughout the body so that you can use all your energy centers. And that's how we live more balanced. And when I talk about, like following your intuition, following your gut instinct, if you are living in this part, there's no gut instinct in that. That means that you are completely living in your mind, in your thinking, in your intellect. And so you are completely cutting off that wisdom of the body. And so I'm feeling like I'm going to lead you in an exercise to bring you back into your body fully. And then I'll talk a little bit more about it. So if you are someone who feels like you are constantly in your head, this is for you overthinkers. This is for you people with anxiety, depression, because those are all thinking things. So if you are feeling like that, you might really benefit from coming back into your body. It can feel kind of weird, and I know it maybe sounds kind of weird, but when your energy is not in your body, it's all kind of like up here. And so when we come back in, we come fully back into our body. And so to do that, just take a couple deep breaths and breathe like all the way down into your feet. And then when you feel you kind of have the breath coming to the tips of your toes, do this with your eyes closed. Then you just say, from the soles of my feet to the crown of my head, I ask to fully come into my body. And then just take a couple deep breaths down to your feet again, and then feel your energy come fully back into your body. This may feel really weird to a lot of you who have maybe never tried that before, because you've probably spent the majority of your life in this area. And again, this is a cultural thing too. We always push the intellect and we always push the thinking mind. But the thinking mind is where we can get into a lot of trouble. This is where we're not tapping into our intuition. We're not tapping into that gut instinct. We are thinking things through. We're being intellectual. And we are full beings, not just heads. We're not just intellect. We are mind, body, and soul. And so all of them need to work together. So try doing that. Like I said, so when you feel like you've kind of come back in, open your eyes and focus on something in the room that's stationary. So wherever you're doing it, like I have a tree right outside me. So if I were to do it, I would focus on the tree. And it may feel like your vision gets a little bit blurry for a minute while you come back in. But notice the difference and notice how it feels to be in your body. Like I said, it may feel a little bit off. It may feel a little bit weird. But again, what you say is, from the soles of my feet to the crown of my head, I ask to fully come into my body, and then open your eyes and focus on something outside that's not moving, or in the house that's not moving. So anyway, that helps you come into your body. So that'll help a little bit with it. But further than that, if you are someone who lives in your head, so like I said, the overthinkers, the anxious people, or people who have anxious thoughts, people who like to cycle stories through their heads, something happens and they just can't stop thinking about it. They ruminate on it, all of that kind of stuff, which is definitely the start of, or a symptom of, having an anxious mind. This would be a great flower essence for you, because again, it distributes that energy throughout all your energy centers rather than everything being focused on the intellect. In the example in the book, they talk about students who have to focus on the intellect when they're in school, because that's what they're focusing on. And so if you can kind of relate to that, if you can think of a time in your life when all you had was the intellect, you're missing out on like a whole lot of other information coming in from your body wisdom, coming in from your intuition, coming in from your other energy centers. And it does feel very cold, and it feels very, if you're completely just focusing on facts, which is another reason why I think this one came up for us. We are at a time right now in the world where we have been fed facts and intellect and facts and intellect. And I think a lot of people are sick of that. And so nasturtium can, like I said, can kind of help you get out of the thinking head, and more back into your body, and feeling more balanced and aligned, I guess. So it's no surprise the card that came up is burden. And this came out of my Wisdoms of Avalon deck. That's where I was drawn to pull the card. And it talks about burden exactly, just kind of what nasturtium talks about. What are the burdens? Are you stuck in fear? Are you stuck in stories in your head? Are you stuck in a specific feeling that you have to be a certain way, or thinking that you have to be a certain way or act a certain way? All the things that I kind of talked about with that thinking mind. So it's talking about how when we are in that it feels like a burden, and it feels overwhelming, and it feels not good, really. Is the best way I can say it. And so this card, what it talks about is, it's time to let that burden go. And so I think the two will work beautifully together, to help you let that burden go of constantly being in your head, whether it be fear stories, whether it be your should haves, whether it be your programming on the right thing to do, all of that kind of stuff. When I'm looking at the global kind of situation right now, the nasturtium will help you get out of that and get more in tune with what's right for you, and by releasing that burden. And so, like I said, I think the two work well together, and the burden is just, really pointing out that is a burden when we are stuck in our heads, when we are focusing on only intellect, only data, and we're not tuning into the feelings and tuning into, the subjectivity of things. We're just stuck in that, yeah, the story, I guess is the best way to say it. So if you are someone who resonates with this, so if you're an overthinker, if you're a ruminator, if you are someone who lies in bed and can't turn your head off, nasturtium will help you with that, to kind of get out of that thinking mind and more aligned. And then to further that kind of work is, what are the burdens that you're causing yourself, and what are the burdens that this is causing you that you're willing to let go of now? Because you don't need to hold on to that burden. You don't need to carry it with you like a heavy backpack. So beautiful work together. If you want to bring nasturtium in to release that burden, then you can simply DM me and I can tell you how to do that. Or if you're interested in a session to either soul alignment, a card reading, or to do a flower essence healing, all of which I do. And in the soul alignment, it's kind of a bit of everything. So it's a nice mix. Then please DM me. And if you feel and you're ready, then yeah, reach out, or you just even want to have some questions, then I'm more than happy to answer that for you. In the meantime, just a reminder that you are more than your head. You are more than data. You are more than your thoughts. You are more than the stories that are running through your head. And so now is a good time, or the universe is inviting you at this time to use all of you, and to tune into all of you so that you can be more aligned. I hope that you are well. And for those of you who this is for, who this really resonates with, please reach out. I have no problem explaining how to bring the flower essence in to assist you. The flower essences are very powerful, but very subtle, and can kind of help us on our path. Will definitely help us on our path. So I wish you all well, and yeah, take care.